Yeah, no, I forgot about, like, because Power Rangers was initially,
Super Sentai,
yeah, which was just one of them, right? I don't think it was a
which
group.
is one. It is an entire genre.
Okay.
Ultraman, the
Right, yeah.
Beetleborgs. Who else was there?
I just heard about
You
Beetleborgs.
just heard about Beetleborgs.
Yeah.
The Beetleborgs were dope.
Oh,
Oh my
on Blue
god.
Sky, there was somebody posted which of these cartoons would you get rid of? I can't remember. I think it was like Animaniacs.
Mm-hmm.
Beetleborgs was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Two other things I can't remember, but I watched and enjoyed. And I said I'll just get rid of Beetleborgs because I've never heard of this show.
Oh no. Beetleborgs was it was one of those things, and this is just me remembering it fondly.
Hmm.
It was interesting in that was like interesting in that it wasn't Power Rangers. Like the main animals were fucking beetles. Like
Hmm.
they still had like giant robots to fight in, and like it was still like choreographed to hell martial arts for children,
Right.
but it had to try harder to compete.
Hmm.
And that's a thing that I feel like, oh god, I feel old, that you don't get a lot of today. Is this is really good. This thing is really good. It is
Yeah.
really popular, but I want to compete. Let me put everything I have into this. I might not have the budget,
Hmm.
but like I can take the money I have and like squeeze every last drop of human creativity in with the money and come out with something, even if it's not as popular,
Hmm.
something unique and that can still be loved.
True. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There isn't, especially cartoonists. Granted, I haven't been watching Cartoon Network or anything, or if I don't even think that exists anymore, actually.
I would have no idea. I haven't.
Yeah. Like, what are
So,
I I watched an I forgot what it's called, animatic of this magical girl show that the creator, who's half Jamaican, half Japanese, created. Really good. It's called Pretty Pretty Please I Don't Want to Be a Magical Girl. It's about this girl who tries to hide being a magical girl because she doesn't want to be. She just wants to go to a boring school, be super regular, and then she can't because somebody attacks the school, and then she has to go and defend everybody. And she doesn't really want to do this, but
it's relatable.
yeah, because it's
It's relatable as shit.
right. Because you never think about you're just chosen, and it sounds amazing and magical, and then at the same time you're so like you're responsible for
It,
so much.
it gives the same energy as like one of my favorite Will Smith movies is Hancock.
Oh yeah.
Specifically because yo, I know I'm good at this. I know I can do this. I know everybody slash like I know people would be happy I'd be like in prison. But yo, I'm just fucking tired of this shit.
Right.
Like I'm old and tired. I'm done. I've been doing this for a minute and that minute is over.
Mm-hmm.
Leave me alone. That is a vibe that has only gotten more relatable to me.
Right. Oh, I feel you.
Mm.
Yeah. I forgot to introduce you.
Oh,
Yeah. So, hi everyone. This is Moment of Clarity podcast. I believe I said that earlier. I don't know. I did tell you. It's a podcast where I interview my really awesome nerdy friends, nerdy guy friends specifically. Today we have Jelani. Jelani is an IT technician, correct?
I make the printer print, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
He gets the computers putin'.
Yeah. I am the gentleman who asks if you have in fact tried restarting it. And spoiler alert, 9 times out of 10, I have a way to check on the back end to see if you've actually restarted it.
That's funny.
Like, I can see that your computer hasn't restarted in like a month. And no, shutting it down and then turning it back on are very different things in like recent Windows. Like, you have to restart the fucker.
Okay. Actually, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I thought restarting it was like a soft shutdown, just enough to keep it on to
Modern
turn
Windows
on.
looks at like shutting down as basically you pressing the pause button until the power comes back on.
Oh my god. I know why. Because of people. Because people thought.
Because people.
Yeah.
Because people.
Yes.
So, restart actually flushes like your RAM and shit. Like, it legitimately makes the computer pull one of.
Gotcha. Yes.
Yeah. So restart your fucking machine.
Yes. If there's anything you take from this podcast, restart your fucking machines.
And that goes back past computers. I also used to do appliance repair.
Oh, yeah. Jelani is a former appliance repair and also installer. Installer
Yes.
and repair.
And home theater.
And home theater. Fun fact, he actually got me the speakers that I use for my TV, which is not here in this room because in my living room.
And I installed your washing machine, or did I just...
Did you install my washing? You did something.
I did something to the dryer. I don't remember what.
Yeah.
I fix things, and then I forget what I fix.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's good, because if you remembered, then...
Then it'd be a problem, because that mean I came back and had to fix it again or something. Any repair I do, and then it gets to, like, flit out of my memory into the past, that means it was a repair that was done, and I got to walk away, and it was done.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how mechanics and repair people should be. Because, people who need to get stuff repaired don't want to come back either. God.
I don't want to see you again.
Yeah. That's the type of mechanic you want. They don't want to see you again.
Mm-hmm. Get yourself an antisocial mechanic and technician.
Yes. So to start this podcast off, I want to ask, what got you into nerd culture, like anime and video game? Like, did you grow up as a nerdy kid?
Yes. Okay. It was honestly a combination of always being interested in art.
Okay.
Therefore, like, just naturally animation and things like that drew me in because, like, I want to draw like that. And in addition to that, I was a little more sheltered growing up.
Okay. How so?
So growing up, I tried to join the local little league football thing, whatever, in elementary school. It was great. Like, I had a couple of friends in elementary school who were joining and having fun, and practice was on Sunday.
Oh, and you had to go to church on Sunday.
And my parents said, hey, are you sure you want to try this out? I'm like, yeah, I legitimately want to try this. But you'd have to give up your duties in church. And I'm like, well, I'd like to try this. This is different. I'd like to try something.
Right, yeah.
That decision was the apparently that answer wasn't right.
Oh. I'm sitting here acting like I didn't know, or like it wasn't clearly foreshadowed.
So, like, not to say, like, I didn't get to go outside and have fun with my friends. I did. But, like, actually getting out into the, like, organized sports and things like that was not really something I got a chance to do. Mm-hmm. Whereas everybody got... Why are you...
Do you need to take that?
No. No. I absolutely don't. What were you talking about? Growing up. Yes, I grew up very nerdy.
And you were
Yes.
sheltered. Was it due to religion or was it due to just like,
Yeah, I am a first generation Jamaican immigrant.
yeah,
I'm a naturalized citizen.
yes.
Anybody, a lot. It's just, I don't want to say anything that has already been said 1,000 times because then it sounds stereotypical. But anybody who's ever listened, who has grown up first generation, like immigrant from like Africa, the Caribbean, like there is an extreme level of expectation for success.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there is.
and I wasn't the most academically successful one in the family. So there was consistently a lot of pressure on me academically. Like when I was younger in elementary school and going into middle, I did fine. But that didn't exempt me from like one of my favorite memories is summer. There were a couple of summers there where like, yes, I got to go outside and play, but also my dad like got entire like summer school curriculum like workbooks for me and my sister to go through all summer. So it
Okay.
was yeah.
Yeah. I knew of that kind of stuff. I don't know if my parents did that. I don't know if it was even to like my older siblings. I'm the youngest of 7. I know that school and everything was very important to them, of course. And we did achieve like very well academically, but my parents weren't really the type to be straight A's or nothing else. Like they were fine with A's and B's and a couple of C's.
There was consistent pressure. And my sister, who I love to death,
Yeah.
who is awesome,
Yeah.
did achieve academically
Right.
very well.
Yeah.
So that increased the pressure on me a little bit because
She's your younger sister.
she's my younger sister, and why can't you?
Yeah.
And it's meh.
Yeah.
These things like, but on the flip side, yeah, that kind of sucked to experience, but here I am today. Like,
Yeah.
I turned out pretty all right.
Yeah, you did. You turned out great.
Yeah, I wouldn't say great. I wouldn't say great.
Oh,
I have my problems.
you don't know what my standards for great are.
If I am great, then we have issues with your standards for great.
I mean, we both went to Florida State. We both got into Florida State.
We got into Florida State.
Yeah.
One of us graduated,
Sure.
and that was you. Yeah. I don't want to get it twisted whatsoever. I absolutely did not finish that.
No.
No.
You didn't. But you did get in, which is
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah. I got in mostly on my test scores and my writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm proud of that to this day. Like, I
Yeah.
still do, like, dabble in the written spoken word, if I say so myself, or some such shit.
Really?
I have a podcast.
True. I guess
That
that's
is-
considered spoken word in a way.
That's a
Words
little
are
bit-
spoken.
Words are absolutely spoken.
Yes.
Yes. And working IT, you have to get really creative with English because you have to help people while also uplifting them, while in the back of your head thinking, "Dear Lord, this is the 15th time I'm explaining this to you. At some point, please just write it down."
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost as if, it's like your storage in your brain is what they tap into rather than just having it in their own storage.
And I feel that. Yes. Yes, that's exactly what it is. And like for some of the clients, I will understand that. You're a lawyer.
Right.
You are constantly doing law things. So in the like rare instances where you aren't doing directly law related things on your computer, when it accidentally your job pulls you a little bit too close to the dark side of the database, I understand if you get a bit frazzled. You're supposed to be on the front of the database just looking at the information.
Right.
If you get too close to the back, I would get scared too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time,
15
explaining OneDrive, explaining to you where to save your documents, why am I explaining to you where you save your documents so you can find them?
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
It doesn't. So, what kind of shows and stuff did you like as a kid?
Oh, I'm gonna run down the list. It's the Power Rangers. This
This is like your
there's
top
a
five?
certain type of nerd, and I'm gonna tell on myself real quick. So there's the Power Rangers and Beetleborg side.
Yeah.
Then you got into Pokemon and Digimon because both are very good and they scratch a different itch.
It's true.
And
It's
then
true.
yes, you
Yeah.
have One Piece, which was fun, but I kind of fell off of, which I now regret as an adult because that show is based as shit.
Yeah.
What else was there? Naruto.
Of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There.
Cowboy Bebop,
Yeah.
because I could watch it at night when my parents weren't awake. And Yu Yu Hakusho.
Okay.
The original Adult Swim run, which I also watched at night,
Yeah.
but while my parents were asleep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that Yu Yu Hakusho was both on Adult Swim
It's
and on yeah, it started on Adult Swim, then it went to
to Toonami.
yeah,
Yep.
to Toonami. So I guess it wasn't that bad. But then again,
It
like
got
Dragon Ball Z had,
re-edited, I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
Dragon Ball was also edited down.
Oh yeah, it edited the hell down. It had to. Did you have any fictional characters that you emulated or looked up to growing up?
You know what's funny? I legitimately kind of looked up to Ash Ketchum a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it because he was close to your age or something?
Yes, and determination.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
The determination to succeed.
Yeah. He wanted to be the very best that no one ever was.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's be honest, he was an only child. That might. I was a very young kid when that was on TV. I was a little bit envious of that. Once again, I love my sister.
Yeah.
I absolutely cherish my younger sister. Dr. Picard is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Okay. She's a doctor. She got her PhD.
No,
Her doctorate?
she is an MD. She's a doctor.
Oh my god, congrats to her.
Yes.
That's incredible.
She's a doctor. My sister's a doctor.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Hey. No, congrats to her.
I'm so impressed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. That was awesome. Yeah. Did you guys watch like shows growing up together? Was she a nerd as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was much more into it than she was, but yeah, she still plays video games.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys play together online?
No, not really.
Okay.
It's more scheduling conflicts,
Makes
and like we don't really play the same games anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like we used to play a lot of very similar games growing up because, well, we had shared systems and everything.
Right, yeah.
But like as we've grown older, like we play games differently. And to be 100% honest with you, I'm kind of jealous of how she plays and experiences games.
Hmm.
I'm not jealous of the reason why, because I have a lot more free time to do so, not working in the medical field and whatnot. So
Right.
she picks her games and she really like works through them and enjoys playing through them because like I don't really have all that time to be gaming, therefore I don't have time to be game jumping.
Mm. I hear you. I hear you.
Mm.
So she kind of locks into and marries the game until.
Until she is done with it.
So what was middle school like, or just middle school, high school? What was that like? Like, what did you do after school?
Rough.
Oh,
Middle school and high school were rough. I was going through weird mental health things. I- Looking back,
okay.
I have a history of like mental health.
Mm.
You're aware of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But looking back, I needed help
Mm.
from I'm going to say probably around freshman sophomore year of college. Absolutely by the time I hit my junior or senior freshman high school, freshman sophomore year of high school,
Gotcha.
and
Okay.
absolutely by my junior or senior year.
Okay.
And growing up in the environment I was in at home, actual mental health services weren't something my family was 100% cool with. So instead of getting a therapist or a psychologist, I got one-on-one sessions with a youth pastor.
Mm-hmm.
And that sent me down a dark path with my mental health
Okay.
and in my social interactions for a good bit.
Mm.
And if I look back, it's the prelude to the stage of my life that got me into this interview scene.
Okay.
I did not have fun. It was I moved around a lot as a young child as well.
Okay.
Cause when we first immigrated, I was like 2 or 3. We went up to Chicago.
Great. Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in the suburbs, but we were moving around. We moved from the city to the suburbs. I spent like maybe 2, 3 years at a time in school as my parents were settling down in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Then, after actually spending some time in like, I'm gonna say third through sixth grade. So that was like the longest stretch I'd been in one school. We
Mm-hmm.
moved down here. I went seventh grade in Broward, and then eighth through high school in Loxahatchee, Florida.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you who don't know, especially in the mid to late 2000s, Loxahatchee, Florida is just farmland and a couple of houses here and there. It's a
It is.
because it's also called the acreage, right?
Yes, and that is a very descriptive name because like lands like it's single family homes mostly,
Yeah.
but at the same time the lots that these homes sit on are an acre plus.
Exactly.
So you have a lot of land to like grow plants like trees, fruits and vegetables. You have land to like a lot of people had horses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And once I say a lot of people had horses, you know exactly who I'm living around.
Yes.
So like
Yeah, it was. I know that Caribbean people also like
mhm.
Loxahatchee, the acreage, because they get a lot of land for cheap in the United States and Florida, so they can
Mhm.
grow a lot of vegetables and have farmland and everything, and I guess just not be in the Caribbean.
Yeah. But
But
by the time I made it down there, a lot of the kids had they've been in school together since elementary, going through
Right. Yeah.
middle, going into high school. I got dropped in at the last year of middle school, and I got dropped into the gifted classes.
Yes.
And at the year I got dropped into the gifted classes in middle school, they just opened another middle school in the district.
Uh-huh.
And it just so happens that all the African American children that were in the gifted class in my middle school the year before got transferred over to
Oh.
that middle school, and I was the only young black man in that last
Oh
year
my
of
god.
gifted classes in middle school.
Oh god.
And then immediately going into high school, the entire shift, social shift, left me in a very vulnerable like place socially, and
Right.
like going into high school.
Right. Because coming from Jamaica to Chicago, which is in the city, which is very black,
Hmm.
suburbs, I'm guessing was kind of black
I
or
went to
mixed.
Christian school.
Okay.
It was not. It was very predominantly white.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's important. Okay. So you went to Christian school
Mm-hmm.
and then you come to Loxahatchee, South Florida, and you're the only black kid in these honors courses. And
For for my last year of middle school, and then I go into high school, and at that point, I was a kid without a clique for a lot of it.
yeah,
Like I had friends ish.
right.
Like I didn't have anybody like really close to me until like I'm gonna say sophomore yearish, middle of freshman, and even then, like being the newer kid, I wasn't like. I'm, I'm gonna stop mincing words. I am 5'6",
Okay.
and I was new as hell. I had a couple of friend groups. I only had a couple of genuine friends, like actual friends like I could hang out with and talk to and chill with. But outside of that, I wasn't really tolerated because nobody really knew me.
Yeah.
And I didn't really, like, let's be honest, I wasn't presenting any social value to anybody. Like, he's a little nerdy kid who likes to draw pictures, but also he's friends with the other black guy who's significantly better at drawing pictures.
Oh. It was hard to find a place, it sounds.
Yeah, it was a seeding ground for insecurity for me.
Yeah.
And I
Absolutely.
have, like, looking back, I have to, like, admit that, like, high school wasn't great. It was, I gained a lot of insecurities from the way, like, I grew up and I socialized with other kids, especially with the, like, not really being able to build those lasting childhood friendships that, like, kind of, like, help you make it through a lot of those hardships.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm guessing at home it wasn't any easier.
I disappointed my dad a lot. So
Absolutely.
no, like I wasn't succeeding socially. I was well on my path to the mental health issues that would plague my early 20s. I was not succeeding. I was not able to succeed in the ways he knew I could. And I knew it. So no, it wasn't great because like even in my angsty teenage like oh my parents hate me like deep down it wasn't just like it's not that my parents hate me, it's just that like even as I knew I was a disappointment, especially in compare because at that point like I'm going through high school. My sister is going through the same middle school I went to. And because new families have gone in, she is not the only black kid in her gifted class going through the middle school. And
Right.
she actually like moved because she was younger than me. she wasn't in there the last year of middle school going into high school. She
Right.
was
Yeah.
in there like the last couple of years of elementary school
Yeah.
going into middle school.
Okay, so she knew
So she
kids.
was able to like succeed a lot more because she got the opportunity to build a social circle, and like not only a social circle, like a social circle of people like her, other Caribbean black and like minority families
Okay.
and children, like
Yeah.
in the same gifted and like accelerated programs working together to succeed. I it hit me a lot.
I know you had a girlfriend in high school.
I had two.
Oh, right. That's
Exactly
true.
two.
That's true. You did have two girls. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Can you talk about them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In sophomore year, I met. I had back surgery the summer between my freshman and sophomore years for scoliosis, so I went into sophomore year with a back brace.
Okay.
In pain. Don't make that sound because it gets cute.
Okay.
There was this girl in my first period English class. I got transferred into the class because my freshman year English teacher hated me, wanted nothing to do with me, and sent me into what's it called? Basically remedial English for my sophomore year of high school. That teacher was like, "Oh, what the hell are you doing here? I might as well just like let you sleep. Just go to the honors class. I don't want you in my classroom. These are bad influences."
Why did the teacher hate you?
I don't know. But that's an entire story because like
Okay.
that was a saga. Because at one point, like she was malicious and she brought my parents into it. Like got my parents on my back. And that year my grandfather died. So like
geez.
it got really bad. It was like you're fucking around in this lady's class and your grandfather just died. Is this how you want him to, is this what you want him looking down on? You failing like this, like type shit I was dealing with at home.
Yeah.
So there was that, and all of this to come around to my senior year. I'm in one of the clubs for the school. We're going around the school giving like presentations and things. I get assigned her fucking class. And I do not often use gendered language or angry language. This bitch, as soon as I walk into her class to give my presentation, she's like, "Oh, you're so eloquent and well-spoken. You've come up so well now. I hated you when you were in my class."
Right. I think I remember you telling me like she did say that. She said that she hated you.
Out of her mouth.
Yeah.
In front of a class full of freshmen.
It's like that she hated you.
Yes. I went home. It didn't surprise me at all. I'm like, I know. Like, the teacher who was leading the group was, what's it called? She was the literary arts teacher. She ran the literary magazine for the school. And she was like, oh, that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me at all from it. I'm not going to say her name because that would be like, that's not cool.
Right.
You
Yeah.
don't say the names of people you don't like in this setting.
Well,
Unless they're like, you know, public figures who are currently burning everything down as fast as they can get to it. But that's
Right.
beside the point.
okay, fair. That's true. She's a civilian.
Yes. So, like, that's how that happened. That's
Okay.
how I ended up in a remedial English class
Okay.
my sophomore year.
And then you were pushed up to honors.
Immediately.
Okay.
I was wearing a back brace at the time, and it was hard for me to do certain things. And
Yeah.
I got placed in the back of the class next to this young lady named...
Okay.
We bickered. We straight up bickered. We did not like each other. Like cat and dog. Just straight bickered. I was having a bad morning one day with my back,
Yeah.
and I couldn't open my Gatorade.
Oh.
I had to look her in the eye. So here's the thing. I can't open this Gatorade. Can you open it for me? My memory isn't the best, but even like that moment will stick in my mind forever because it was just an adorable moment.
Yeah.
And I can say, like, outside of my current marriage, that was probably the most wholesome relationship I ever had.
So from sophomore year of high school to
Junior.
no, I
Junior.
was gonna say like since the amount of years that have passed. Because
Yeah.
like, what year did you meet your wife?
I met my wife 8 years ago.
Okay, so just 8 years ago. So that's like 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So from I want to say 2007
2006, 2007.
to 2017.
Yes.
Damn, so like 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I believe it because of just how
It was
like crazy
was
and nuts
just-
dating is, and just it's hard
yeah.
because like we're all like growing and learning and progressing, and then but sometimes
Yeah.
you meet a great person but you're in a terrible place, and then or you're in a good place but they're not. Sometimes you're both not. Anyways, I know that I'm preaching to the choir here.
But yeah, she taught me a lot.
Yeah.
She taught me a lot, especially about empathy.
Okay.
Empathy and acceptance.
Okay.
Because I always felt like I had to perform
Gotcha.
to a certain level. She was the first person to actually like, no, I don't care about your report card. I don't care about any of this other stuff. It's just you. Like actual acceptance of a human being.
Yeah, that is so important.
Yeah, that was important. Yeah.
No, for sure. Because, it's like, who are you without the grades, without, the friend group, the after school, everything? Who are you, and just to accept that, especially for men, I feel.
Yeah.
Because men,
There's always a lot of pressure on who you should be.
yeah, like what you're doing and who you should be.
Whether that's good or bad. There's always pressure on who you should be as a man. Sometimes we don't, and this was specifically true for me. It took significantly longer than it should have for someone to like sit me down and ask me not what do you want to be, but like who are you?
Yeah.
Like who do you perceive yourself to be?
Yeah.
It's like how do you feel about you? Like, and it's to actually have someone ask that and be like legitimately interested, and like not only interested but to like deeply care about that answer is a transformative experience that I do not believe enough men get to have.
I agree. Yeah.
Because it's always, what do you want to be? What do you do? It's like, what do you earn? What do you, all this other stupid shit. Who do you support? Blah, 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 blah. It's very rarely just, bro, who are you?
Yeah.
Like, nah, like, I'm Jelani.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah. Right. No, it's true. I'll be honest, I don't even know if I've ever had that question asked to me or like felt that way. I mean, somewhat with my therapist sometimes, for sure. I've asked myself that question though, because it's an easy question that you want to avoid because it feels very vulnerable. It's like looking at yourself in the mirror naked.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, this is me, and they just kind of walk past, but they actually like stare at yourself for a long. It's like,
It's uncomfortable.
yeah, exactly.
But I honestly have to say that, like, it's something we should all do.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's one of the few things I will actually give myself, like, as far as like practices and mental health bullshit. It's like I do regularly at like, who are we? Like, who are we? What effect are we having, and what are we doing right now, Jelani? Like, look in the mirror. Like, I know we're Morgan's husband. I know we're an IT technician, but like, who are we?
Right, yeah.
What are we doing? And are we happy with that?
Yeah, yeah. That's true. Like, it's so easy to get wrapped up into titles that, like, what are we when all of our titles have been stripped from us?
Mm-hmm.
So after the relationship between you and ended, which
Ended
wasn't,
badly.
yeah, it did end badly.
Yeah. And that was it had no other option to end badly.
Really?
Long distance relationships in high school don't work.
Oh, okay. So, like, her family moved.
Her family
and her
moved. She
family
moved
right.
to Louisiana. Her dad got a job at a hospital.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. So we ended up trying to make the long distance thing work. The whole her moving thing was low key kind of traumatic because, like, we were all trying to meet at the end of the school year because she was moving. Mm-hmm. And we were going to see a movie, and I wasn't allowed to go because my what's it called? My grades didn't look like they wanted them to look. So, like, I was like, but she's moving to Louisiana.
Right, yeah.
And, like, well, you should have thought about that while you were in class.
Oh, my God. So you weren't even able to get to see her before she...
No. And everything spiraled after that.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was... But once again, like, without those experiences, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Yeah. A canon event, as people...
Exactly.
As the kids say.
Exactly.
Which I think is a crazy thing from nerd culture that's come into the mainstream.
Right?
Like, when I heard one of my friends from work say, like, she told me a story about something that happened in her past. She was like, yeah, that was a canon event. I was like...
Like,
what?
Excuse me, ma'am, does your life have filler episodes?
Yeah, but no, it's one of those moments where you look back and it shapes you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like, it was out of your control because you were a kid. You probably didn't have a license at the time, or
Absolutely not. I was 15. Or was I 16? Going on 16? Me and getting a license / driving was weird. When did I get that car? 2021?
yeah, because you were living in that apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think we're gonna have to get to that though, because I have a feeling I know what happens from the outside looking in, because that just sort of was a bit of a catalyst to. But I do want to talk about your second girlfriend in high school.
That's great.
I know that's a whole, like, we would need a whole episode about that. Like, how long after?
Maybe a year.
Okay. So you were like junior, senior?
I was a senior in high school.
And what was she?
She was a junior.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's funny how I went from, like, the second most wholesome relationship I've ever had, because, like, I'm married and I love my life more than anything.
Right, yeah.
And then right after that, I got into the second most toxic relationship I've ever had.
Oh, so there was a more toxic one?
Oh, absolutely.
I think I may know, but I'm not sure. Cause I don't
It
think
is that one.
Okay. Because I don't think because you didn't talk about it too much. But
That's exactly that. There's a reason I didn't talk about that one too much. That one.
I didn't know that one was worse. I mean, I guess so. I guess I could, but still, though. Because, like, was like, there's like two parts because there was the high school college part
Yeah.
and then the after college part.
Yeah.
So, how did you and meet?
Oh, she was okay. So in our friend group in high school, this is
Yeah.
in our senior year.
Gotcha.
I was firmly like stuck in the he's the shorter black guy who also draws phase of getting sick of high school. And this young freshman gets introduced into our social circle by our art teacher. And we're like, okay, cool. He's a cool kid. We like him. Like, he can hang out with us. Like, whatever. And come halfway through the year, we found out he's dating Lindsay,
Who's a junior?
who is a
Okay,
junior.
so he's dating somebody older. Okay.
Yes. And then she somehow gets introduced to the friend group.
Okay.
And at this point, I'm not in a relationship. I'm in a situationship with this girl she was a friend of ours. She had a boyfriend. I should not have been anywhere near her.
But this wouldn't be the first time.
Eh,
Well, that probably was the first time.
That was the first time.
Okay.
That was the first.
But it wasn't the last.
Oh, you leave me alone. Look, I am a good, hard-working husband.
You
now.
are. You are. I'm just kidding.
It took
with you.
it took me a long path to get here.
Yes, it did.
I walked a long road to get, and once again, I'm not tall. It was a long road. These are short legs. There was a lot of steps.
Yes, that is fair. That is fair. I can't argue with that.
Because I couldn't like foretell where those steps would take me. I just knew I had to take them.
That's fair. But so you were messing around with this girl who had a boyfriend, and then you met.
Yes, and my friend were having some kind of weird issues. And then one time after school, she's like crying in the literary magazine room where like my club is. And I'm like,
Right.
What's wrong? And like, I don't know what I did, but like at some point, like the empathy and like she ended up like really opening up to me and like really taking a liking to me and then dumping him.
And then started dating you shortly after, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to the freshman friend? Did he just kind of stop hanging out with y'all after? Or did you keep your relationship secret at first?
At first, yes.
Okay.
It did end up being a little bit of a beef.
Fair.
But at the end of the day, I don't... Yo, let's be 100% honest. That kid got off easy. Because, like, you and I both can sit here and look, because it wasn't much more than a year after that I met you.
That's true, yeah.
It wasn't much more of so like you could sit here and like in your own mind, Leandra, look back at what was going on and be like, did that young man knock it off mad easy?
That is true, especially for his freshman year.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm sure probably the rest of his high school year was just fine.
I hope he flew through it. He was set to succeed. I 100% took that out.
Because you did the long distance with.
I did the long distance with.
Yeah.
I really tried. Like,
Yeah, you did.
I lost my virginity.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I really tried.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It wasn't good for either one of us. It wasn't good for either one of us. Because I wasn't, like, let's be 100% honest. At that stage, I was not in a place to carry a relationship, especially not a long distance one.
Mm-hmm.
I was depressed.
Yeah.
I was horribly depressed. I was not in a space where I could deal with myself, much less another person.
Mm-hmm.
And like she had her own things going on. We were not good for each other.
Yeah.
And like looking back at it now in my 30s, I can say honestly, like, and that's the worst that relation. Yeah, we were explosively argumentative.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we would argue, we would cry, we would scream at each other. It was a topsy turvy emotional relationship.
Mm-hmm.
There, like,
And toxic, it sounds.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was the first relationship I'd ever been in, and I was cheated on.
Mm.
Yeah, within like the first week of the relationship, I found
Right.
that
No,
out.
I remember, but I
Yeah.
thought the other girl cheated on you too.
Which
No.
no,
Later on in your life.
later on,
Okay.
later on, he was the first one to cheat on me.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you said like very early on. Did you ever find out who it was?
Oh, I knew. She told me who it was when I found out who when she told me that. She's the one who told me about it years later that she did in fact cheat on me
Right.
very early, and I knew who it was. It was a friend of mine, but like a very distant friend,
Gotcha, but still.
like somebody I knew.
Yeah. No, that's just so messed up.
Yes, life.
Yeah.
That's I less blame. Like 9 times out of 10 in a cheating situation, you blame the cheater.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the few times where I blame the dude she cheated with because they had a history and he was even older than I was and she was a year younger than me.
Mm.
They had a history. He was a year older than me.
So he was already out of high school.
He was on his way out. And at this point, like, I can't blame a young like when she told me the story, I'm like, no, I can't really blame you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is 100% some dude manipulating you into like sleeping with him.
Yeah.
And like, I'm the dumbass for what's it called? I'm the dumbass for not seeing through it in the moment.
Mm-hmm. I know that you two broke up in college.
Yes.
Well, while you were in college, I think I don't know if she was.
She was.
Okay, she was also in college at the time because you guys were dating for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys broke up. You guys would always like break up and get back together, but you guys like broke up for a very long time.
Then she came back pregnant from college. And I was home from Loxahatchee because I had just dropped out from FSU.
Yeah.
She came back home. What's it called? Her baby's father had kicked her out of the apartment in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And she was coming on her way back down to Florida to move back in with her parents. And she called me.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got back together. Yeah. And I was with her throughout the pregnancy. I supported her through that. Mm-hmm. And I was with her I was in the room when she gave birth, and I shook the adoptive father's hand as he took his son.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that she put the kid up for adoption.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Through the church.
I did want to ask, what was your lowest moment in your life that you?
The lowest moment in my life.
Yeah, and what did you do to overcome that? Like, what was a defining low moment in your life?
It would be that the lowest moment would be... There's a couple of candidates.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to say the lowest moment I've ever felt was probably when I got laid off from Best Buy.
Oh.
That was that was one of them. And it does compete with that other relationship we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
It competes actively with that. And you know what? I think the other relationship wins,
Okay.
but it's close between the two because getting laid off hurt.
Yeah.
Getting laid off hurt, but it was a valuable lesson because like that set me actively and forcefully on the path that I am on, like the mental path I am, which is that we don't fucking trust a corporation.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
We do not have faith in a company to take care of you any further than you can improve the bottom line. And I can honestly say I've grown significantly since realizing that.
Do you know why you were laid off?
Yeah, it was an organizational restructure.
Oh.
Best Buy Corporate just decided that my store had one too many Geek Squad agents. And the sales manager at the time did not like me.
Even though you were good at your job.
I was good at my
Yeah.
job. But I also, like, meh. I don't 100% blame him because, like, he had a penchant for, like, liking to sleep with, what's it called, employees. And at a certain point, so did I. So
I mean, that's Best Buy for you, though.
that is absolutely Best Buy. I am so glad I'm out of that toxic circle. Oh, my God. That's not even Best Buy. That I get the feeling that's retail.
Yeah, retail and food. And like,
Yeah, like it's an experience that everyone should have. But also, like, it's an experience.
like sleeping with a coworker or just working in retail or food.
Yeah. Look. I'm sorry, but the best way to. Some people need to learn firsthand the reason you don't fuck around at work.
That's true, yeah.
And at the same point, like, everyone should experience it because there are also some really stable, long-lasting relationships that happen at work.
You're right, exactly. That's true.
Yeah. So, to be 100% honest, yeah, you should. It's an experience that everyone should have. Honestly.
I agree. I'm not totally against that. I know that there's like a lot of companies that have a really strict don't date any of your coworkers policies. That never ever fully works because someone may get with somebody. It might be short term, it might be long. You don't know.
It's never don't date at work. It's if you are the lower ranked employee, don't make it awkward if it ends at work. That's the way that rule is translated every time.
That's a good point. Or if you're a higher ranked employee, don't date a lower ranked employee.
Even then, do it. Just don't be loud about it. That's what they mean. But it's really, they don't really care. Let's be 100% honest. Like, I don't trust them to actually care. I think that rule is always written it's no fraternization, which translates to don't be messy.
Right. Don't get caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be messy. We're human beings. We're sexual animals. You're never going to be able to stop, like, human beings being human. We find each other attractive. We're going, like...
Yeah.
That's how the human race continues to exist.
I think it's funny how, Afrotech or, like, those, those conventions and trade shows and things like that for tech community. There's a lot of them even for like science and like space and all that. Anyway, but there's a big one, Afrotech, and there's been a lot of things of guys complaining of how the women are really out here trying to get with a man, or even if they don't even if they're not in tech or are even participating, they might be on the dating apps and trying to be nearby or something. And the men are upset and complaining because they believe that, oh, these women didn't want us when we were in middle school and high school or whatever. So they want us now because we're making big money and all that. And it's one of those things where, so
Yo, I'm
if she's
going.
hot and you want to, have some fun, like, go for it.
Oh my god, my response to that is always, it's just like, yo, cool. Just tell me your personality sucks so much you cannot find someone to be attracted to you for it. Please say it louder. Because I have to go back into my bag, like, at the end of the day, like, I see those comments. I see these guys. You're taller than me. You guys get actual haircuts and shit. Like, you work to present yourselves.
Right.
So it's not a matter of you niggas being ugly or anything.
Right, yeah.
Your personality sucks. And yes, so now that you actually have, like, some actual redeeming quality, because being handsome doesn't get you anywhere. And in 2025, unless you're doing the jobs I was doing when I was younger, being physically stronger isn't getting you anywhere. Because, like, a lot of these guys are guys in tech. They weren't out there installing appliances. They weren't lifting things to get them to the third story of a hot-ass Florida apartment complex. And, yo, Florida's, like, obsession with outdoor stairwells with no elevator up to, like, third and fourth floor in apartment complexes.
That's true, yeah.
My glutes are built on that obsession. Oh my god. But, like, it's not getting you anywhere. And, like, apparently your personality isn't engaging enough. So yes, now that you have money, now that you have one redeeming quality, one thing that, like, might make you bearable for the future. Yes, now you're getting attention. Because, look, I'm short, balding, and broke. And I have been at least two of those three things most of my life.
Yeah.
And I was able to pick up a few dates.
Yeah, you were.
I was able to have my fun. So if, like, the only attention you get is when you have... Tell on yourself more.
Yeah.
Please tell me you're boring.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Or just have really low self-esteem and is very insecure.
Yeah.
So they're projecting it. Yeah. Anyway.
And let's be honest, like, a lot of these tech conventions are filled with people with dudes who idolize Musk and his ilk. And last time I checked, yes, he has 13 kids. But that's only because he's what?
Rich.
The
He's
most
not no Prince Charming. Yeah, that's true. And, a lot of those men tend to get with very attractive young women, too. And by young, I mean, like, in their 20s, early 20s.
Women who are getting the bag. Good on them.
Yeah, right?
Get that bag, stack it up for as long as you can put up with them, and get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, it's just like... And also, if they do have a kid with them, they're also... I don't know, young or just, naive or whatever. But anyways, whatever. That's another way to get the bag. Not a way I recommend, but...
Absolutely not, because...
You're stuck with them.
At least 18 years. Might name your kid after, what's it called, the Pythagorean theorem or some such shit.
Right. Y equals mx plus b. So...
Get over here, sine and cosine. You're both grounded.
Even though we went on a tangent.
God damn. I'm not even gonna ask if you're proud of yourself. I'm fucking proud of you.
Thank you. You can co-sign that.
Stop it. Stop it. Next question.
Yes. um, so, like, it was between two getting laid off from Best Buy and also that relationship.
Yeah.
Why were they competing so much?
Because that relationship was honestly the most... Okay, so the relationship in question was I got involved with a woman I was working with at Best Buy.
Mm-hmm.
But I was also friends with one of the reps from one of the vendors.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember
We
him.
were close. We were working out. Like, he's actually one of the guys who started getting me into the gym and working out at the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So, like, we were close. We would, like, hang out, like, legitimately, like, go do shit together. Like, I knew his fiance and his daughter. Like, we would chill.
And how old were you at this time?
I was, I'm going to say, like, 23, 24-ish.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, that sounds about right.
But, like, we would chill, we would hang out, and, like, this girl who worked with us, this woman who worked with us, with me at Best Buy, also, like, started hanging out with us.
Yeah.
And, like, at the time, I was messing around with another coworker. Mm-hmm. And, like, me and this other friend, like, all three of us would hang out. Not the young lady I was seeing, but like me, the dude, and the girl, that was like friends with us. We would hang out, and then like we started getting closer, and then like she ended up going to Applebee's with friends one night, and she ended up inviting me out.
Okay.
I went out. Homeboy couldn't make it.
Okay.
Long story short, we end up sleeping together in my car outside the Applebee's.
Okay.
I'm young and dumb. I catch feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I blow up what could have been actually a really nice relationship for this woman. Only come to find out she's also sleeping with him.
Oh, who has a fiance?
And a daughter.
Yeah.
And that all spiraled out of control. And funny enough, like, I caught feelings. This woman met my family and shit.
Oh, God.
So everything's blowing up, and I'm just like, at that point, I'm like, go the fuck away.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
leave me alone. Because at that point, she'd already left Best Buy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I don't have to deal with you at all. Mm-hmm. Just leave me the fuck alone. Like, go the fuck away. Like, go away. And, like, we had a couple of mutual friends, and the mutual friends obviously found out what was going on. So they started burning her out of their lives. So it came down to, like, she was having a freak out. And then, like, this is the funniest part. She was having a freak out. She tried to call my mom to tell my mom about my life.
Oh.
What she doesn't understand is that, like, of my parents, I'm closer to my mom than my dad.
Uh-huh.
And at this point in time, I was just like, I'm not lying to you guys about anything. Like, I'm in my 20s. Like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
You can kick me out for being who I am, but, like, this is who I am.
Right, yeah.
And my mom's like, well, I can't just kick out my son. Mm-hmm. And so she goes to try to call my mom. My mom doesn't answer. She leaves a voicemail, and my mom's like, why are you trying to tell me about my son?
Yeah.
I know my son. And then she goes to one of our other like friends, and my friend is like, wait, why'd you try to call his mom so his mom could call you a whore to your face? And I'm like, no, we don't. Why would you say that?
Yeah.
But on the inside, I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's right. I said leave me alone.
Yeah. That's insane. How did
Mm-hmm.
she get your mom's number?
Cause she met my mom loves to try to like she after like and how my mom likes to like try to get to know, or at least up until like I'm married now, she does has nothing to worry about, like,
Yeah.
but like while I was still dating after the whole explosion,
Yeah.
like my mom put in a lot of work to be more open and fostering so she could like try to like not see that happen again.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah, so she had my mom's number.
Okay.
It
Yeah, because
doesn't bother me.
yeah, that makes sense. As a girl met your family, so your
Hmm.
mom. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's craziness. Because even with like the former homeboy now,
Yeah.
the fact that he was engaged and had a daughter, that doesn't even change his philandering. Doesn't change his
I
hoeing, his
no,
mistreatment,
because he's
cheating.
and that was also formative for me because at one point I was a guy who was like completely okay with like, oh, you cheat in your relationships. I'm not in a relationship with you. I don't really care about that. We can still be friends. And like through that, like having that experience, and I'm like, oh no, nah, bruh, you can't be doing that around me.
Mm-hmm.
We around here we keep our promises, especially the ones like you attach on metal bands to someone else's. We keep our promises.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that was one of my lowest points because I was really enamored with that woman, and it hurt me a lot because
It was one of your really good friends.
we were really close.
Yeah.
So that brought me really down, and I and like coming to the fact that that was probably my lowest point. It's actually like something I recently talked to with Morgan because like I had to sit down and like, and she's like what is the most negative defining thing for you, like like what's go, and I'm like, and like without even thinking I said my friendly name for this story
Mm-hmm.
because like, and she's like, what? And it's like, because it was just a betrayal on all sides.
Mm-hmm.
I, for years, couldn't trust anyone, especially not women,
Yeah.
because it was, and then like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, sure, there were a couple, like, there wasn't anything serious.
Yeah. Just like hookups and
Yeah.
yeah, here and there.
And that, like, really shook me and sent me down a dark path, like mentally and emotionally.
Yeah. That's when you disappeared.
That is exactly when I disappeared.
Yeah. Like there was a long moment where I feel like
It's like
I
2-3 years.
I guess so. I think so. Like there was just like you would pop in and like maybe text or call randomly every so often, but
Every year on your birthday.
without you knowing it was my birthday.
Well,
Just coincidentally.
just like, hey, I'm still breathing.
Yeah.
Hey, Jelani, it's my birthday. Happy birthday. Goodbye.
Okay. Okay, wow. So, do you want to talk about that dark path and how you came out of that? Was it just
I
like,
was lonely, and I made I was lonely. I felt I was lonely, and it destroyed my self-esteem. It annihilated my self-esteem
And your trust, I assume, too.
and my trust. Like,
Yeah.
I was,
Gotcha.
and when you're in that place where you feel like you're alone and you feel like you're worthless, it makes it really easy to fall into like dark holes.
Mm-hmm.
Like resentment builds and festers and it comes back out,
Mm.
often in surprising and disgusting ways. So at the same time, this was going on in my life and I was going through this. Like, I don't know if the whole Gamergate thing was going on during, like, or if it was building up around this time. I'd have
Yeah.
to. I'm not solid on the dates. I tend to put this shit the fuck out of my mind.
Yeah, this was like around 2014 was Gamergate.
2014.
Because that's,
Yeah, so it's right around that time period.
yeah.
So
We would have been like 23.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
So right around then, I got really like my resentment in my personal life grew and spread because I had to deal with like the emotional and romantic like pain, and it also like coupled with just the consistent feelings of inadequacy I had felt growing up. So,
It was coming face to face with that again.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the fact that I was also kind of like a failure. I'm the one who dropped out of school. I tried to go back to school a couple times after I left FSU. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. And that also like contributed. So, and then seeing other people succeed, and not only succeed, but seeing the world work so hard to like bring people in and show them that they could succeed at something made me resent them. And it just so happened that this was also a time when there was a lot of push for women in video games and STEM.
Yeah.
And I was childish. And I was jealous. And I was stupid. And I was hurt. So yeah, I felt... Now, I want to make it perfectly clear. That was wrong.
Gamergate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That was... But...
Did I ever tell you I interviewed someone, a woman who was pretty much a victim of Gamergate?
No.
So on the Melanated Council, my live stream podcasting, years ago, this must have been about 2021 or 20, whatever. And one of like, I guess a member of the Yang Gang, those who supported Andrew Yang during his 2020 presidential run. I can't remember her name, but we interviewed her. She used to work on, I think Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I think that's the one she worked on.
Wow.
Like, I think she did
one of my favorite games of all time. That is like, no, I'm not even capping. Like, that is a defining video. We were talking about canon events. The release of Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 was a fucking canon event in my timeline.
Okay.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she did the cover art for it, but like she worked on it. And I remember, because I didn't really know too much about Gamergate. I just remember like there were times when you would talk to me about it and complain to me about it. And like I wasn't following, even though I was like into gaming, I wasn't following it that much. I definitely noticed the pattern of how Gamergate pretty much spread its disgust throughout every single asset of it.
Gamergate was a modern prototype to MAGA.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And funny enough, the person I interviewed before, Chris, he agrees. Like we spoke about that not on the episode, but like afterwards, and I was like, yeah, because I don't. Like, I'm glad that you're, because I felt crazy knowing this and seeing the pattern and recognizing it. And I'm like, I don't know who's just trolling or who's being absolutely serious. Because, like, we were on Reddit. I don't know when you joined Reddit. I joined Reddit, like, when you gave me my Reddit back in 2011, 2012 or something.
I joined Reddit, like, a year before.
Okay. So, back then, Reddit was pretty cool. Like, it was
a dope place.
Yeah, I feel so bad for people who
if
went on
modern Reddit is the kids now whose introduction to Reddit is modern Reddit. It's just
God.
That is my
I want
greatest.
to cry.
I feel like that might be one of our greatest failings as a generation. Is we let the internet become the corporate fucking wasteland that it is.
Yeah. Yeah, because Reddit it wasn't perfect. Like, there was rampant racism in certain places. Like there's some, like, subreddits.
Jailbait was still an active subreddit when you and I joined.
Yeah, there was, like, bestiality.
Yes.
Like, that...
Yes.
Like just the crazy shit that you'd see on
But that version of, but at the same time, that version of Reddit was a true, like, it was the everything site.
Yeah, it was the front page of the internet.
And it was like, it legitimately, like, if you had an interest, there was a subreddit there, and it actually had a lot of the time insightful conversation.
Yeah. I still have the habit of Googling something and then putting Reddit afterwards.
In my current job, that's the easiest way to find information.
Yeah.
Because, like, trying to find a software fix, every clickbait website and their mom is like, oh, you're having this problem? If you download this little application I made, it'll solve it. And my response is, I'm not downloading your malware.
Right. No.
Let me just get Reddit where somebody will just explain, like, it's going to be in the comments somewhere.
Right, yeah. And, like, if they have a link to something, it's like legit, you can hover over. It's like Wikipedia. It's like, okay.
The worst I'll get, like, depending on where I look for my information, the worst I'll get is a fucking Rickroll.
Right.
It's not like way back in the day where it's like, do I click this? How comfortable? Where is my mentality right now? Because this could just be fucking Goatsy.
Oh, man. Like, but yeah, I didn't really see the Gamergate part of Reddit. I wasn't really on those subreddits, so I didn't really know. So it wasn't only from what you told me about it that I knew. So when I was interviewing when we were interviewing that gamer creator, it was interesting to hear her point of view. She didn't talk about it too much. When we asked her about it, she was just saying, like, it was just people being mean to women. It was just people I think she may have gotten doxxed. I can't remember. She definitely knew people. She definitely knew women who got doxxed. Like, it was madness when you think back on it. Like, women were getting doxxed like crazy. There was, like, just so much hate being filled to them on
And
a
that's what broke me of it. Is like I was in there early when it was still trying to pretend to be about ethics and journalism.
gotcha.
And then as
I like that you said pretending to be ethics and journalism.
it you gain so much insight in your 30s.
Yeah, yeah.
Like just
Thank you.
it's not even in your 30s. It's just fucking time.
Yeah.
You gain so much insight, and time is distance away. You get like the further away you get from something, the more you can see. Is like it's the same thing with going up in an airplane. Like I'm standing right here, all I see is the tree. The further up I go, holy shit, there's an entire forest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and then you realize going back that like it was never even if it was for some people about ethics in journalism, it never started off that way.
Right.
It from the get, it was a toxic spat between two people. It was a toxic relationship that spat between two people, and one of them went nuclear and decided to, like, in the worst way possible, sick an internet's worth of fucking incels on his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. And then that just spread to anybody with a woman who was a woman with a woman's name, I'm sure. It caught on fire and it could not be controlled.
It absolutely did,
Yeah.
because it started off with, it started off, hey, no, her game isn't getting good reviews because it's good. It's getting good reviews because she slept with all the reviewers.
Right.
And like, let's be 100% honest. The game in question was Depression Quest. I'm not going to sit here and say Depression Quest is my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and get into the argument about whether or not it's a game. It is an experience that deserves to exist because it tells a very valuable story.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, that is the reason why gaming journalists were talking about it.
Okay.
But also, really, guys? Really, guys? It's basically an interactive storybook.
Yeah.
And we know game critics, especially at that time, they like to think of themselves as fine art critics sometimes, because this has been like the walking simulators, the beautiful experiences that aren't really games were really getting big and in vogue. And it's just like,
This is like Goat Simulator and
no, pre-Goat Simulator, because Goat Simulator is a physics playground.
that makes sense.
These were games were like legitimate like experiences. Like you there's no combat. There might be there's probably dialogue, but it's more about experiencing the story that's being told. It's about feeling the emotion.
Gotcha, yeah.
It's actually like video games are art, right? Watch me art all over this fucking thing.
Gotcha.
Like, and younger me didn't understand it. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Still not my cup of tea.
Yeah, yeah.
But, like, it was getting good press because it told a story. And it was like and it was about something a lot of people experience. And to be 100% honest, I should have played it. Because if I had played it instead of jumping in onto the bandwagon that got upset that it got pressed when it's not actually a game, I probably wouldn't have gotten involved with it.
Gotcha.
At the end of the day, it is something like I'm genuinely ashamed that like I even paid a little bit of attention to.
It's sort of in a way getting wrapped up in a conspiracy theory.
It is that is exactly what it was. That
Yeah.
is exactly what it's not sort of in a way getting wrapped up in a conspiracy theory. Gamergate was the breeding ground for how can we take this stupid bullshit conspiracy theory and just whip it into such a fervor with with a specific set of people that they will start fucking wigging the fuck out, and then it'll just grow and grow and grow until all of a sudden you have somewhat reasonable, decent minded people just hearing about it in the back of their head, like, wait, what if that, wait, is that true?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
That's what QAnon was.
yeah.
QAnon was what? The Democrats are eating babies somewhere, and
Yeah.
then it buzzed and
Yeah.
buzzed and buzzed until we have MAGA now.
Yeah. And also, I think Pizzagate too. And
Which, yeah,
I never really looked into Pizzagate. I thought it was so funny when
they thought there was they thought there was something underneath that Pizza Hut somewhere.
yeah,
The pizza. I don't even think it was a Pizza
it was
Hut.
some pizza place.
It was some like small mom and pop pizza place too,
Right, yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's
It's
wild.
yeah,
That's wild.
yeah. Like the mind is a crazy place when it doesn't have the answers, and even when it does, it may not even believe it.
No,
Yeah.
no. Mine, like, you know what? I give myself too much credit. You want to know what really broke me out of Gamergate?
What?
The racism.
Okay, talk about it.
I'm not even gonna front. Like, it was probably most likely the quickest. The like eye opening part was the racism because it went from like women in STEM to like, all right, cool. I think I get what you guys are upset about.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. And now, wait, no. Some of the smartest people in my life are women. Like
Yeah.
my sister's a doctor. One of my best friends is like actually like a successful adult, and like I watched her through college. Like, I know she worked her ass off. This wasn't like some like, no,
No, I was a virgin all throughout college. I kind of slept my way to the top.
like no. So like, I don't get it, guys. And then they were like, and then they put black people in the games, and then I'm like, oh come on, don't tell. You guys were all Nazis this entire time. Nah, I gotta be out of here.
You
No,
You did not see that coming.
right? It's just like, it's like, and that started an entire full, like, complete kick turn in my life to the point where I am now, where I'm like, yeah, no, I want nothing to. I am absolutely nowhere near that person anymore.
Yeah.
I refuse to be that person at all.
Yeah.
Because, like, I saw the ramp and I saw how it, like, I saw the, what's it called? The isolated kid who never really lived up to expectations. The constant hammering of religion into my head to the point where, like, it made me awkward to interact with for some kids.
Mm-hmm.
But how indoctrinated into Christianity I was. Because it was to the point where, like, wait, but all reasonable people are Christians, right? Like, Muslims are just a bunch of people, like, flying planes into each other, aren't they? Like, that, like, fully Christian nationalist indoctrinated.
Gotcha.
Like, I had been, like, force-fed the Kool-Aid growing up on Christianity.
Yeah.
And then, like, from that ramp into the, like, dejection and that, like, the social awkwardness probably played into a lot of why I wasn't accepted growing up. It wasn't just the fact that I was a new kid. I was the new kid from the Christian school
Mm-hmm.
that was real Christian about things and
Mm.
awkward and nerdy. I wasn't like, let me tell you about God. I was the kind who would just be like,
Judgmental.
fucking heathen.
Ooh.
Just like side eyeing everything type shit. And
Would you say that's probably your cringiest belief or like formally?
aliens. I still believe that there's probably
Oh,
something
I
out
mean,
there.
okay, like currently, but I meant like
Yes,
you're like
absolutely.
before to like now that you're
Yes.
over it, yeah.
Yes. I have kick turned so hard on religion that like I have gone full circle to aliens.
Honestly, I feel like there could be something out there too.
I
Like I don't. It's like theoretically, it's very possible.
yeah, it's very likely.
You know, I don't know how advanced or non-advanced are. I'm sure there's molecules, little
There's
organisms out there in some planet.
at the very least, my best bet is somewhere out there in the cosmos. There is some life form doing something very similar to what we're doing now, having this same conversation about us.
Probably.
And
That'd be so dope.
right? Everybody's like, but aliens, like traveling through space and traveling through like multiple like dimensions and stuff. I'm like, no, it's just cool to be able to like have a thought like, you know what? There's probably someone out there in space just chilling, living his best life, doing his thing. And that gives me a little bit of comfort for the simple reason of like, even if this experiment is a complete failure, there's a chance out there for like, actual empathetic and intelligent life. Because we're intelligent as all shit.
Yeah.
But as a species, like we have like on an individual level, we can hit empathy real hard. But like when you start getting us like massing us together as humans and people, that empathy fall off is hard. And it's just like a little bit of hope that like maybe out there there's somewhere there's a civilization or a species that doesn't have that fucking problem.
Yeah, I really hope. I really hope.
It's just a little bit of hope.
Yeah. So I feel like we'd be so much further as a species if we could think about it on the grand scale of things, you know, being able to help mothers you with just with money things and all that, being able to help men with just not leaving them off to the side to like raise themselves, essentially the whole boys are easy to raise kind of
Oh,
thing. This is he's like, yeah, because you just leave them to play video games and
like boy, it's like boys are easy to raise. No, 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 no. I know several people raising boys, and if you're actually out here raising your son, that's difficult.
yeah, especially in today's day and age, I feel with just the content and media that's out there that's specifically targeting boys from a young ass age, like 12.
Hmm.
If they have access to YouTube, if they're just curious about girls,
It's
they got access
and
to video games like online playing.
we just and my thing is you can't hide the world from children and you can't hide children from the world.
Thank you.
What you need to do is actually like talk. And I can't even this is the circle that I keep coming. It's a circle that is failing young men right now.
Mm-hmm.
Their parents aren't home.
That's true. Because they're both working.
They're both working.
Yeah.
Boys and girls mature biologically differently.
Yeah.
Just biologically differently and at different rates.
Yeah.
And they have different needs. And I feel like you need to spend more time, like, talking and just being there with your son.
Mm-hmm. Not just getting them into a sport and having them do the sport and you are just off to the sidelines or making one activity his whole life.
You're trying to... Everybody's trying to make their son into a man.
Mm.
And then you consistently fail to see, like, you don't get a chance to see, if you're constantly trying to make your son into the man you think he should be, you never get a chance to see the man that your son can become.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what young men have to deal with a lot now. Everybody is trying to make them into a specific kind of man.
Right.
And this goes for young ladies as well, because like they have influences trying to make them into a certain kind of woman as well. Like, because like just as much as the alpha male pipeline is a fucking disgusting mill, like the tread wife thing that was going around was horribly deceptive.
Yeah.
And misleading.
Yeah.
Because just like you can't tell young men that you have to be constantly aware and vigilant just in case everything devolves into violence.
Yeah.
That's not a healthy mind state to be in.
Right. Or or for a woman to just be with a man so he can protect her.
Protect and provide. That's all he's good for. And it's just like, no, that's not how that works.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a whole other episode. Like it's oh god, it's so aggravating. Cuz there's like, you know, you're raising a human being. Human beings are multifaceted.
Mm-hmm.
There's several pronged approaches that you know, and the people that he grows up around, you know, older men, grown men that are around him, like even if you're like a single mom or something, make sure he has an uncle or, you know, like this is like a whole...
The best example I can give is there was a young man, like, within the last couple months who ended up on a stream with DJ Academics and his friends. Oh. And it went viral recently.
I heard about this, but...
DJ Ack and his friends were acting all kinds of out and talking to this 15-year-old boy about shit that they had no business talking to him about. Mm-hmm. And this young man stood on business on... No, you don't ask me those questions. You're not supposed to be talking to me like this. You're not supposed to be asking me these questions. Y'all are weird. Stop asking me these questions. I'm not old enough for that.
Whoa, okay.
Like, stood on business.
Yes.
And it's just like, and it comes down to the young man is a moderator in a streamer's, what's it called? And his big bro streamer came in and was just like, yo, it came out, made a like statement like, yo, those dudes are weird. My moderator should have never had anything to do with them. He should have never had to deal with that. Mm-hmm. He's a young man trying to make his career streaming, and these grown men with full-on careers came in and were weird and should have had nothing to do with that. Mm-hmm. We need more of that.
Yeah.
We need more of that energy.
Yeah. I think this kind of plays into the next question I want to ask you. Like, what stereotypically masculine things did you partake in? Or like what stereotypically masculine things or like cringy masculine things that you do as a kid or when you were younger?
I wasn't that like stereotypically masculine
Okay.
when I was younger. I was a very I was very nerdy. Like I liked my most masculine thing growing up for real was I liked shonen and I was attracted to women.
Okay.
Like most of my like objectively masculine qualities, like drinking beer, I didn't even really enjoy until after college when I started drinking nice beers.
Yeah. Same.
Um, like I fix, install, and repair my own stuff if I can. Like I guess that, like, and that's mostly me just learning to fix things by doing different jobs and working.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you need to be useful in that way, or is it just something that you can do now? Because when I first met you, you were a creative writing major,
Yeah,
and not really. You were into tech. This is
yeah,
like in a nerdy way. You introduced me to what a podcast is because you were
yeah.
listening to them, even back then, 2009.
PC gaming was I was getting into that around that time. I've
Right.
always been tech adjacent. Yeah,
Yeah, but um, the fixing things and I guess more of like the blue collar manual work. I guess you kind of fell into that because of dropping out of college.
yeah.
Yeah. But that
And I
wasn't that like like if you were to finish college, you think you would have gone into um, that trade?
if I finished college, I probably wouldn't have gotten into that. No,
Okay.
like appliances. You know what? Let me be 100% honest.
Mm-hmm.
The job market is fucking weird.
Yeah.
The job market is weird,
Yeah.
and I don't. I can't say that if I finished college, I wouldn't have ended up doing that because, like, you ended up working for Best Buy for a short bit,
Yeah. Yeah. Right after I graduated.
and like I don't think you ever really liked Best Buy.
No, I hated retail. I
Mm-hmm.
would not go back to retail.
Neither would I, but
I always say if I could choose between going back to food, being working in a restaurant, or working retail, I'd go back to food. I don't know about
that's
now.
that's wild.
I don't know about
That's crazy to
well
say in my head.
nowadays with the DoorDash and Grubhub and things like probably not
Mm-hmm.
because that's tough.
Yeah.
That is really tough.
Because now the food industry, you're working to get into the restaurant and not just be in your car.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah. You're making like 5 meals at a time or figuring out
Mm-hmm.
17 different orders. Like I couldn't do that.
No.
No. If those food delivery services didn't exist, I would still choose food over retail.
Whereas, like, for me, I enjoyed sales when I first started.
Okay.
And then I moved over to, like, the Geek Squad tech desk where, like, I already knew a good bit about computers and how to deal with them because I'd been messing with them for years.
Mm-hmm.
And then it wasn't even the software side of it that I fell in love with when I started doing Geek Squad. It was the hardware part that I wasn't allowed to do.
Mm.
And from there on, it's just like I like working with my hands.
Mm-hmm.
Even now, I work IT, but I still do low volt. I do like what Ethernet wiring for offices. I'll
Right.
do like I mount TVs still every once in a blue moon.
Okay.
If a client needs a TV mounted, and we can't like be bothered to find a vendor.
Gotcha.
Shit, we don't even bother finding vendors for small TV mounts anymore. I just do those. But like,
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy working with my hands.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I get the feeling 9 times out of 10, I would have found a way to get my hands on something, and I would have, if not professionally, I would be more of a hobbyist
Gotcha.
than I am now.
Gotcha. How did you meet your wife?
After I got laid off from Best Buy,
Yeah.
I started working at a phone store down in Boca,
Mm-hmm.
and I started. This is. And I started working at a phone store down in Boca. While I was there, while I was working there, I started dating around the Boca area because, like, if I'm gonna be in the area 40 hours a week, I might as well have some fun while I'm here.
Right. Yeah.
So I started dating around the Boca area. I met a young lady online. We ended up getting along. We had it was fine. It's just that she was very Christian, and this was a very post Christianity Jelani, and it didn't end up working out too well. But like in the process, I stopped working at the AT&T store. I started working in the mall right next to it at a phone repair store because like Jelani likes working with his hands.
Yeah.
The kiosks in the walkway in the mall, there was a nail salon type kiosk, and that's where Morgan worked. And we met the first day because, well, I was hungover because the night before I was out in Loxahatchee with my friends drinking, celebrating, getting another job. And like, Loxahatchee parties exactly like it sounds like it does.
That's the country.
So I woke up hungover as shit. And she comes in because I'm like a new employee. They just expanded because the company used to be a kiosk. Now it has a storefront.
Okay.
And like I'm the first like dedicated sales employee.
Gotcha.
I got hired on dedicated sales. Ended up repairing most of the phones. Great. But like she came in and she's like, "Does anybody want coffee?" And like, of course, get me out of here. It's my first day on the job.
You're right.
And I'm hungover as shit. Please, dear God, get me the fuck out of this room.
Yeah.
So I went with her to get coffee.
Yeah.
And like we became really good friends. And then like the relationship with the nice young Christian girl petered out because like it wasn't meant to be. Like
Right. Yeah.
my favorite joke to make is the deal was sealed when she made a joke about getting me to go to church to impress my mom. Because even if you had found a way to get me to go to church, my mom would have just been in front of my mother would have immediately been like, "Okay, cool, so she's not going to be in his life come Monday morning."
Oh my God.
Like my mom knows me rather well when it comes to certain things.
Yeah.
And it's just like when you prime a young man to completely reject the church, something inside of you tells you that you've primed your son to completely reject the church. You don't just do that and not notice. It's not like, oh, why doesn't he go into church anymore? I don't understand how the hell that could have happened. No, any parent who has a child that has deeply rejected the church after moving out of the house, and they try to pretend that they don't know why, they know why. So yeah, like that was done, and then like me and Morgan were having an argument while we were friends on Valentine's Day. And I was making fun of her because her boyfriend at the time was like, he got her dead flowers and like half a box of chocolates or some such shit.
Oh my God.
Well, I think the delivery fucked up the delivery. Either way, bottom line, it came back. It showed up to them all fucked. And I was roasting her because, like, at the end of the day, I don't care if you're male or female, man, woman. If you're a friend of Jelani, you're getting fucking roasted. And then she yelled at me that like it doesn't really matter because like the only other person she has any feelings for is in a relationship, and I was like there
Yeah.
dating the young Christian girl, and like
Right. You put two and two together.
yeah, so relationships dissolved, and then 8 years later, here I am happily married.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. No. I'm trying to remember the first time I met Morgan, but when I did, I just really liked her. I was just like, because.
I went full circle. It's like coming out of Gamergate where they screamed about blue-haired women to marrying my very own blue-haired woman.
I think she's currently blue haired right now, right?
Blue, green. I think it's a rainbow. I know it's a rainbow.
Okay.
It's sometimes I have to double check to make sure that all the colors are represented. Mm-hmm. Because like I have a history in art. If one of the colors is missing, it's not a fucking rainbow.
That is true.
But they are all there.
Okay. Because I remember like meeting her and just, like she was just like really cool, but like it was like I wasn't expecting this, but it works. It's like it just works somehow.
It's like this doesn't fit the Jelani. I am noticeably brighter.
Yeah.
With her.
Yeah, for sure. You're a lot better, you're just a lot better of a person.
Yeah, like the Jelani that disappeared for 2, 3, 4 years and then basically showed back up. I borderline showed back up with Morgan.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I knew the previous girl. Well, I never met her, but I remember.
You knew of her.
Right, yeah.
I basically showed, and the Jelani that disappeared was not I was a nice person. We wouldn't have been friends if I wasn't a nice person. But I wasn't a bright, shining ray of a human being.
Right.
Yeah, I was just like I was a little bit of a downer when I wanted to be.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But like I'm still grumpy as shit.
Yeah.
But I'm happy.
Yeah. You got a little bit of a pep in your step.
Yeah.
A grumpy pep in your step, but
absolutely.
Pep is there.
The pep is there. It's like, look, I get up and my job is to fix problems. Mm-hmm. If your job is entirely going in to fix something that's fucked up, it's hard to like, but like, it's like waking up to swing a hammer and just like hit something. Mm-hmm. But I wake up and I pick up that hammer and by George, do I swing it with joy sometimes. It's fucking great. It's like, I don't know. It's the smile the superhero wears when he's just had a great day, but he's still kicking some bad guy's ass for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
It's like I feel like Spider-Man. Like, yeah, sure. I have to deal with Kingpin and the Vulture and everything else. But Mary Jane gave me a kiss this morning before I left the house, so I'm walking on sunshine.
Yeah,
fuck off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like no one can mess with you. No, that's awesome.
I've lived.
Yeah, you have.
I look back at what I've lived through and what I've like experienced and everything, and when you look at, you often remember like little snippets. Mm-hmm. And a lot of those little snippets for me, like especially going back into the past, aren't necessarily happy.
Right, yeah.
9 times out of 10, they probably aren't happy, except for like for specific like sections.
Yeah, for sure.
But like looking back in a situation like this where I'm like being asked about like the path I've lived, I can look back and be like, that shit fucking sucked. That shit fucking sucked. But I wouldn't change a second of it because, like, that shit fucking sucking is what prepped me for where I am now.
Exactly.
And sure, shit ain't perfect now. But I'm fucking, like, pretty goddamn happy with my life.
Yeah.
Like, I have good friends. I have things doing. Like, I have a decent job. I'm married to the love of my life. I have a podcast with my friends. I'm here being it. I have made it out of the path, the nasty path enough that I was walking in my early 20s to now sit on a podcast and talk about the
Yeah.
stupid shit I used to believe.
Yeah. And realize that what you used to believe in was wrong and where you were in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of like when you're in the moment, of course, you don't realize that this is like you're not really thinking about where you are mentally or and things like that. It's just you're kind of just existing in it, living in it. And then when you actually look back on it, you're like, "Oh my God, I was an asshole. I was horrific. I had such terrible beliefs.
Yeah.
you know, and like when you're there, when you're living, you know, when you were in your 20s, you probably thought you were, you know, a pretty like, of course, like we were all like a decent person. We are good, you know, we were paying our bills or you know, working a job or just trying to live life or you know, do things and whatnot. But it's just crazy when you look back on it and you realize just how much you lived. Yeah, you didn't, you know, it may not be when you think about living like traveling and doing
Yeah.
all, you know, like, you know, doing things that's like money, but experiences are free. They don't cost anything. So, but they are worth, and, you know, and like, there's no cost, like, it's priceless.
I like to think about it like all the travel and all the good experiences in the world just tell you about what you like.
Yeah.
They just tell you about what you like. All those good experiences that you have, it's just your brain telling you, I like this. But all those bad experiences that you've had, all that pain, all that suffering, that tells you who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
How you deal with that, how you come out of that.
Right. Because
Like,
it's painful.
it is painful.
Sucks to go
and you
through
have
that.
to look back and look at what you've done and who you are.
Yeah.
And you have to look back at the choices that you've made and which choices reflect you and which choices don't reflect you.
Right. Yeah.
Like, there's moments where, like, Roderick brings it up every once in a while. There was a moment where I had, like, what, $70, $80 to my name, and it was do what I needed to do to get home or pay for someone's bus ticket to get home who had no money and just showed up out, like, somewhere. I'm like, no, I'm paying for this young lady's bus ticket to get the fuck out of Tallahassee because, like, according to her, she doesn't even really go here. Like,
Right.
she's our age. She doesn't go to FAMU. She doesn't go to FSU. She was out here to visit someone. She got stranded.
Yeah.
And she missed her bus to get out. No, like, here, take some money and get on the Greyhound and get out of here. And, like, looking back at that versus the Jelani who was angry at women for getting, what's it called, jobs in the games industry while he was like a college dropout living at his parents' house. It's just like, which one of those two Jelanis is an honorable human? It's the one who gave up the money to get someone the fuck out of there. And, like, and both of those Jelanis, like, had thoughts about a woman in that moment. But one of those Jelanis is the one I want to be.
Yeah.
Is it the one that resented women or the one who saw a woman in need and was just like, yo, here, help, here's help. What do you here? Are you okay? Will you be good for? That's the Jelani. I don't want to be the Jelani who sees someone and resents them.
Yeah.
Because the Jelani who saw someone and resents, if he saw that girl, would he have given her the money? And then, like, I have to look back and say, that is a Jelani that would have questioned giving, and that is a Jelani I never want to be again.
Gotcha.
I always want to be the one who's, yeah, he's grumpy, he's a little bit tough to deal with sometimes, but at the end of the day, he will make sure you are steady and good.
Yeah. Amen. Absolutely.
Like, Yeah, I'll if you fuck up, I'll cuss you the fuck up.
Yeah.
I will give you no end of shit while also picking you up, brushing you off, making sure you're okay, and then giving you one upside the head. Like, that's the Jelani I want to be.
Yeah. And that's the Jelani you are.
Unfortunately. Now I'm that Jelani and people are having kids.
I know, isn't that gross?
It's so like, yo. Now I was just I'm going to be a nice person. I'm going to be helpful to the people I care. Wait, motherfucker, you guys are having kids? Wait, no, I didn't sign up for this.
Right, yeah. Now you have to.
It's like, I signed up to be nice to you. I did not sign up to be an uncle.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing about, like, you know, being alive and being an uncle or an aunt. You don't choose it.
No.
It just happens to you.
No.
People around you decided to do this thing, and now you gotta pay for it. Now Christmas is expensive.
Right? This is like, it's like, I'm sitting here like, yo, I had the presence of mind to think ahead, and I thought of all of you motherfuckers. And you know what I got all of you for Christmas? I got me a vasectomy. I wish you would have done the same for me.
I know. Well, Jelani, we have come to the end of our podcast. It was absolutely incredible and amazing. I really, truly enjoyed this conversation.
This was actually fun. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was insightful. It was like, it was refreshing going down that path, reliving all those memories.
Yeah. I know, like, the questions can seem intimidating or just, like, weird at first, but it's fun.
It was it even intimidating? It was, or weird? It was the actually facing and putting into words, like how I thought and felt at times when I shouldn't have felt those things, and being honest about it. Like, because it's one thing to be honest with myself. It's another thing to, like, sit in my house with my wife and be like, yo, this is something I went through. But it's a completely other thing to be like, I'm a gentleman with my own podcast. I hope people listen to me at some point and, like, take my words seriously or what. No, my podcast isn't a take my words seriously podcast. Right. I hope they listen to me and, like, take joy from hearing me.
Right, yeah.
So, like, actually going through and, like, voicing, like, yo, in a moment where I'm not, like, talking about video games or tech or reading funny reviews on porn games. There's a little bit something about, like, the deepest, darkest secrets of my heart that I never want anybody to know that I actually exist there.
Yeah. Or existed. Yeah.
Oh, that Jelani isn't alive anymore, but he still exists.
Gotcha.
I don't know if it's just a me thing. I am diagnosed bipolar. Like, that is a thing I live with.
Okay.
I'm medicated and I stay on my, like, medications. But it's also like I have to keep on top of myself. Because, like, yeah, it's dead in there. Like, that side of me is dead. But, like, if I slip and, like, I let myself go too far, I have to keep in mind that, like, shit like that is like mum raw. All it's looking for is the right conditions, and then it's back from the dead trying to take over the world again.
Gotcha. I hear you, yeah. But
Yeah.
thank you so much again for coming on.
Of course.
Do you have anything you'd like to promote? Like the name of your podcast?
The Cool Cats podcast.
Yes, and where can people listen to it?
We are on Spotify, Apple Music, Pretty sure we're on Google Music now.
Is it Google Music?
I
Is it
don't know.
YouTube? I don't know.
I don't know. We're
The
no,
thi-
it is YouTube Music, and I'm
Right.
pretty sure we are not on the Android like podcast store. We're very small.
Gotcha.
We're still working on it. And we have a new live recording on Twitch this weekend, Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is going to be on twitch.tv/I the cat dad I
Okay.
is the channel we stream on for the podcast. You can also look up the Cool Cats podcast on iTunes. Mm-hmm. Please give us a listen.
Yes, definitely. I'll have a link in the description box.
In the dibbly doo below.
Yeah. And yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
I wouldn't have missed it for the world.